turf roofs. A church holding 900 years of history, a waterfall dropping straight into the sea, and tea in a 200-year-old home. All in one day, on foot and by bus. I'm Bethany, a gal who travels and a travel advisor. I've visited over 50 countries and counting, mostly by ship. This week's Wednesday wandering stop, Tórshavn and Vágar Island, Faroe Islands. The ship docked in Tórshavn early. Fog sat low over the harbor. The streets were still quiet. I had a few hours to wander the capital on my own before my afternoon excursion. Tórshavn's old town sits on a hill above the harbor, so seeing it on foot really just means picking a direction and climbing. This is Tinganes, a narrow finger of rock lined with turf-roofed buildings from the 16th and 17th centuries. Faroese government has met right here since around the year 825. Past Tinganes, the streets narrow into cobblestone alleys, dark wood, white window frames, and grass on every roof. This building looks like it belongs to the government, and it does now, but it started out in 1894 as the town school. My afternoon excursion headed west towards Vágar Island, through a couple of quiet fjords and then through an undersea tunnel connecting it to the rest of the country. Before we went under the water, we made a quick stop at an overlook, with Tórshavn and the ship sitting below in the fog. First stop on Bøur was Sandavágur, a small village known for this church. White walls, a red roof, a tiered clock tower, consecrated in 1917. Inside sits a runestone from around the year 1200, carved by a Norwegian settler who wanted the record to show he got here first. Next to the church stands a statue telling a Faroese folk story. A shepherd and a huldra, one of the hidden people of Faroese folklore, in a bright red dress he could not look away from. Inside, a pale blue ceiling, a model ship hanging overhead, and pews carved with a small rosette on every seat. Gásadalur is a village of about a dozen people. Until a tunnel connected it to the rest of Bøur in the early 2000s, the only way in was a footpath over the mountain, or a boat when the weather allowed it. Getting to the falls is a short flat walk along the cliff edge, with a low railing between you and a very long drop. This is Múlafossur, dropping more than 30 meters, about 100 feet, straight off the cliff and into the Atlantic. Close enough to the village that you get both in the same shot. Somewhere out past that cove sits the Dranganir sea stacks, two of the most photographed rock formations in the country. On a clearer day, you would see them. I did not get a clearer day. But fog or not, it was worth the walk out to that railing. The last stop was Bøur, the final village before the tunnel to Gásadalur. Grass roofs, black timber, and a view of Tinhólmur that shows up on more Faroese postcards than almost anywhere else. We were welcomed into Pakkusio, a building from 1861 that started as a warehouse for the fish trade. Parts of it are still lived in today. The room we sat in is now a small café, and tea and cake came out not long after we sat down. Wood-paneled walls, a wood stove, a mannequin in traditional Faroese dress standing in the corner. This place has been collecting things for over 160 years. Out back, Pakkusio sits right at the water's edge. Somewhere past the fog were the Dranganir sea stacks again, the same ones I had failed to see a couple of hours earlier. After tea and cake, I had some free time to wander Bøur on my own. I went up one side street and back down another, and somehow ended up right back in front of Pakkusio, exactly where the afternoon had started. Tórshavn, with its many hills and colorful buildings. A 900-year-old runestone tucked inside a charming red and white church, a waterfall dropping straight into the sea, and tea and cake in a turf-roofed building. That's Tórshavn and Vágar Island, the real version, not the brochure one. If you want help planning your own trip like this, that's literally my day job. To get that conversation started, the link is in the description. Subscribe for weekly Wednesday wandering stops. Next week, Istanbul.